Hey bookaholics, it's Isabel and welcome to another video. So today I'm going to be doing my February wrap-up. Now this wrap-up is embarrassingly short because I only read 2 books this month. I read so little because I am in a reading slump. I'm in a full-on reading slump. I just do not feel like it. I'm having a hard time just wanting to pick up a book. It's been a weird month. I just haven't had the desire to actually pick up a book and actually read it. I only completed 2 books, but I tried reading other ones. I tried and I couldn't get into it. The only reason I finished one in the month of March so far is because it was a buddy read, and I'm gonna be doing another buddy read this month, so hopefully I'll be getting myself out of this reading slump. But February, I had a hard time. I could not. I just had no desire to pick up a book. The only 2 books I read, I really loved one of them. It was one of my favorites this year so far, and the other one was the worst. I absolutely hated it. This month was just not my month for reading at all. I did watch a lot of movies and TV shows, so I got some things done. I did do things in February, I just didn't do reading things. So I'm gonna talk about the 2 books that I read. I'm gonna talk about the books that I've tried reading, and I'll talk about the books that I will hopefully read in March, even though March is pretty much over. We're gonna talk about it. So the first book I read this month, I actually talked about in a video. That is One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. This one I got from NetGalley for a honest review, and honestly, I love this book. This book was so much fun. I loved it, and I'm really glad that it lived up to the red, white, and royal blue hype, because I would have been so disappointed, because this is my most anticipated read of 2021, so I had a lot of expectations on this book, and it met it and surpassed it. I love this book. It was so much fun. If you don't know, One Last Stop follows a girl named August who moves to New York City, and she happens to go into the subway and runs into this girl named Jane, and she just keeps running into her on the subway, and she eventually finds out that Jane is displaced from the 1970s. This one was such a fun book. It's a lesbian novel, so it was amazing. I loved August and Jane's dynamic, and they were just so cute, and I don't know, I just really love this book. I talk more about why I loved it in the video I have, so go check it out if you want to hear my full non-spoilery thoughts on this book. This one comes out June 1st, so definitely keep your eyes peeled for it. The next book I read was Lore by Alexandra Bracken. Now I will be having a review coming up pretty darn soon for this one, so keep your eyes peeled for that as well. This was a 1 star for me. Freaking hated it. Oh my god, I hated this book. I think the one thing I hate about this book the most is that there was absolutely no point to it. There was no point. I didn't understand the purpose of this book. I talk about this more in my review, but it wasn't developed well. It just wasn't. There wasn't any world building. It was just pretty much this idea that was created, and then she just tried to put characters inside this world and try to make it work, and it didn't work. The characters had no motive. There was no real connection between them. There was no world building, and the antagonist was just, it had no point. They had no point. I didn't know the motivation. I didn't understand what the purpose of this whole book was, and it was just, honestly, just hated it. So disappointing, because I actually was looking forward to this book because I really do like Greek mythology, but this one just disappointed me so much. There's nothing really special about it, and it was just crap. So that's my tea on that. So those are the 2 books that I actually finished in the month of February. If you watch my January wrap-up, you know I was reading The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern, and as you see, I did not finish this book this month. I am still only 186 pages in, so only halfway through this book, and I don't know, I think I'm just having a hard time with physical books lately. I can't seem to get myself to sit down and read. I just feel like I should be doing something else. I should be doing something else in my time besides sitting down and reading a physical book. I think one of the things is I need to relax. Like, I feel like I always need to have something going on. Like, even in like the month of February, I feel like I need to have something going on, but then I end up like sitting in front of my TV and watching movies and TV shows. So like, obviously I feel like I can do that, but I can't like sit down and read a book. I don't know why I have this idea that I can't sit down and read, because it just, I can do that, and if I just let myself relax, I would be able to do it maybe, but I've been having a hard time with physical books, and I don't know, I don't know if it's this book particularly that I just can't get through, because like obviously like I read One Last Stop, which was an ebook to be fair, but it was still, I had to like read the words, you know? So like I was able to sit down and read that, but I can't do this one. Why can't I do this one? Because I am enjoying it. It's just I'm having a hard time reading it. So like I'm still getting through The Night Circus. It's just not happening. And then I also started the 10 Rules for Faking It. This was actually one of my most anticipated reads. Like, I was excited to read this book. I started and I got maybe like 20% in, and like I was enjoying it. It was fun, but like I just stopped. I just stopped reading it, and I want to get back to it, but it was an Overdrive book, so I'd have to borrow it again from Overdrive. So like I just haven't done that yet, and I just haven't had any desire to like read an audiobook either. Like, I read Lore as an audiobook, so like I don't know if I just like that just set a precedence that not reading audiobooks for a while, because that one was just. And then this will be in my March wrap up, but I'll mention it here. I have finished 1,000 Ships. I can't remember the author, but this is my buddy read, and so got through this book. This book was also a disappointment. So like I'm just not having a good time with books apparently. Like, I've only read a couple books that I've actually really enjoyed this year so far, and one of them was One Last Stop, and then I had a couple in January. But like lately I just haven't been like into reading, and it's kind of sad because I love reading and I love getting into these stories. So like I don't know, I just need to get myself out of this slump, and I need to do it, but it's hard. It's hard, especially when you kind of don't have the desire to. I think part of it is that I got really obsessed with this TV show. I started watching My Hero Academia because the 5th season is coming out, so I wanted to rewatch all the seasons. So that's what I did, and I kind of got a little bit obsessed, and honestly I kind of started reading fan fiction again, which I haven't done for a while, and I think that was part of my reading slump, is that I was reading fan fiction rather than actual books. So you know, that happened. I just kind of got obsessed with it, and I've actually started reading My Hero Academia Magna. So like I technically am kind of reading again, but like it's Magna that I haven't actually read before, and I'm actually enjoying it. Like, surprisingly, I'm enjoying Magna. So like I guess maybe I'm starting to read a little bit more, but it's still not like actually reading books that I'm like used to, you know? So I want to get back into the books that I'm used to. So I have another book that I'm going to be buddy reading with Serena from A Wandering Mind, and that's The Astonishing Color of After by Emily X.R. Pan. So we're going to read this together. We're actually going to start tomorrow, which is Monday the 15th of March. So we're going to be starting this, and I'm really excited for that, and I think this will help me start getting out of my reading slump and actually, you know, start reading again and not freaking reading fan fiction anymore, because I really need to stop that. But yeah, I'm gonna read that. I want to read some more romance, because romance books really just are a lot of fun and they're easy to get through. So I'm hoping I can borrow the X Talk. I'm hoping it's in either Overdrive or Scribd, because I'm really excited for that one, and it's out, and I was really excited to read it right away, but I just never did. So I'm hoping to read the X Talk. I would like to finish the 10 Rules for Faking It, and there's probably some other ones. I am also kind of tempted to read The Chain of Iron, the new Cassandra Clare book, because like I actually enjoyed Chain of Gold. Like, it wasn't my favorite of hers, and it seemed like just a lot of characters in it, but I still am curious to see where it goes, and it's just been getting a lot of hype, so I'm curious. And it is on Scribd, so like I could read it right now and it'd be fine. So I'm going to attempt to finish The Night Circus. Like I need to finish this at some point in my life, you know? Like I just need to, but I've just been having a hard time with that. And then I'll probably continue with My Hero Academia Magna, because I have finished the season and I've actually watched the anime twice. Like, I watched it and then I rewatched it again right after because I just couldn't get it out of my head. Like, that's how bad it was. Like, sometimes when I get obsessed, I get obsessed. So like, that's what happened with me. It's been a wild time. Now that I've watched it the second time, I think I'm starting to get out of that funk of just having My Hero Academia just be my life. So I think that's done. So I'm hoping now that that's out of my system, I'll be able to focus on other things. So again, I'm gonna read this with Serena. I finished 1,000 Ships. So like, I finished that book and I finished like a couple volumes of My Hero Academia. So like, I'm ahead of February already. So like, go me. I want to read more romance again, but I also want to expand. I'm starting to get kind of into true crime stuff. Like, I was watching a bunch of true crime documentary. I was watching a lot of true crime YouTubers, like just listening to the stories they were presenting and all that. Like, I was fascinated. And then I watched a few documentaries, like mini-series on Netflix. Like, I watched The Night Stalker, I watched Crime Scene, The Hotel Cecil, I watched The Ripper. Like, I watched all these different things and it just got me so intrigued by true crime. So like, I have some true crime books that I have on my TBR now that I really want to read. Like The Five, that's the 5 prostitutes that were killed by Jack the Ripper. And then there's like other different true crime books that have been intriguing to me. So like, I have some ideas for that as well. Also have some other books. Like, I want to read more fantasy books. Like, I have An Ember in the Ashes here. Like, I want to read that. I want to read The Ninth House. I have different books that I want to read, and like, they're all different genres. And I think like, maybe if I was focused on one genre, maybe I would be able to get through more books, because then I wouldn't have like being reading a romance here and then a fantasy there, and then like, I think like that makes it just a little bit slower because you get through these books differently, right? Like, romance books I can get through really, really quickly because they're just fun, don't have to really think about it too much. While like, books like The Night Circus, you have to like focus on every different word that comes out because you might miss something. Yeah, so that is my life. I'm going to try March, it's already the middle of March, but I'm gonna try to get myself out of this reading slump. So the first step, I'm gonna buddy read with this, because if I have someone who's expecting me to read, I have to force myself to. I'm gonna be reading 15 chapters every day for the week, so I mean, I should be able to do that. Their chapters are pretty short, so I'm pretty excited for this. I'm hoping I'll get back into reading because it's just been kind of sad lately. Like, I feel like usually when I don't have something to read, I'm always feeling kind of sad. So like, when I was in university, that's usually why I would read fan fiction, because I didn't have time to like sit down and read a full book, but I could sit down and read like a quick little fan fiction story, you know? So like, that's when I really got into fan fiction, and that's kind of been what's going on lately, because I have other things that I need to get done during the day that like, when I sit down, I just have time to read just like a quick little thing. So yeah, that's my life. So I really need to get control of it right now. So that's the plan. I'm hoping I'll get myself out of this slump very, very soon, but we will have to see. This wasn't really any wrap up or even like a TBR. It was just me talking. So I'm hoping you guys enjoyed me talking here and just saying whatever I wanted. And yeah, so let me know your thoughts down below. What books did you guys read in February? Are you in a reading slump right now? What are you trying to do to make yourself not being in a reading slump? Because I've been having a hard time, but hopefully having buddy reads will help. And yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say today, so I will just talk to you guys later.